Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you the only Cypher setup you'll ever need on the B site of Bind. I'll show you the setup, then talk about your positioning in sight, and then ways you can mix it up to catch the enemy off guard. For this site, I tend to use a similar tripwire and cage setup each round, but I'll vary the camera placement depending on how the enemy team are attacking. One really good spot for the cam is in the back wall here. Make sure you do it from on top of the centre box to put it as high up on the wall as possible. Although this gives great vision of the site, it's super obvious and the enemies can destroy it from in cover. Most cameras in sight have this problem, so I either like to use a camera on the back wall of B garden, which has to be placed after the prep phase, or in the opening of the roof of hookah. Place it from on top of the boxes as it's more hidden as you can get it higher up. This gives opportunities for great pre-fires and wall bangs on unsuspecting enemies, and they still give you some visibility into the site. The more I've played Bind, the less I think holding hookah is a good idea. You just get stuck in there and die. So there's no point in using utility by the entrance, so instead I'll use a tripwire by the window as it pulls anyone who jumps into sight back, or I'll put it just inside the window ledge here. I'll then use my Cypher cage on the ledge to block line of sight into sight from window. It can slip off the ledge pretty easily, so try and place it from directly above like this. Also remember, the ledge and all the walls in hookah are penetrable, so if you know where someone is, try and shoot them through the wall. Next up is my B-long setup. This really depends on how many people are holding the site with you. If you're by yourself, I use the tripwire in the cage right on the entrance to site. I'll use them here as the enemies are more exposed if they're caught by it. The problem with this is that they have free entrance into the B garden, allowing them to easily see into sight. This is why I only use this setup by myself, as it could leave your teammates exposed. If I am setting up knowing my team is with me, I'll use the cage in the same spot here, but then I'll either put the tripwire on the wall here, or at an angle off this ledge. Of course, the enemies can still see into sight from B long, but this notifies you if they're pushing into garden. You can shoot through the wooden edges here if someone is highlighted through the wall. When I'm holding this site, my favourite spot to play is behind the tunnel in the middle of sight. This allows you to cover both entrances quickly and be in cover whilst you transition between the two. Another spot I see some people playing is the elbow here. I really don't like this spot as you're very exposed to the window, especially if you try and hold the garden. So really, this spot is only safe to hold the window from, but if you want to hold the window, you can do it much more effectively from behind the tunnel in sight or from the spawn doorway as you have a much better view of hookah. There are a couple of cheeky little spots you can use from time to time to catch the enemies off guard. Firstly, if we lose the first round, I'll buy a shorty and a tripwire and maybe a Cypher cage and play in hookah. I know I said in general this was a bad idea, but if you use the wire in the entrance to hookah and then play round the corner with the shorty, you can catch someone off guard, especially if you gave them free control of hookah the first round. You can then use the cage to allow you to safely rotate out of hookah if they find your position. The other cheeky little spot I sometimes use is in this corner here by B garden. If I'm doing this, I make sure I have a teammate holding the window and that they know they're exposed from B long. By playing here, you can catch anyone coming through B garden, or even anyone jumping into sight through the window, as they tend not to check behind them. You can play here with a shotgun or a rifle. Make sure you use a cage in the entrance to the garden, as it lets you rotate if the enemies find out your position. I'll play here patiently, so even if the enemies trigger my tripwire, I won't swing on them and I'll wait for them to push into sight past me, as you can catch multiple enemies off guard if you're patient. I've been making Cypher setups for all sites in the game, so if you want to learn effective ways to hold more sites, please subscribe to keep up to date, and also check out the playlist in the end cards. If you want to learn more about Cypher, please check out this playlist, which has guides on how to get the most out of him on attack. Thanks for watching!